Oh, hey everybody. I'm Mike. He's Luke Walton. It's Lakers Voices, Toyota Voices, which is, of course, Luke Walton, a big-time partnership that's lasted over 41 years. Usually with the players, I get to say that it's twice their age. In your case, not so much, as you just had a birthday. Happy birthday.
38 years old now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And looking good.
You didn't say happy birthday on my birthday, but a week later is fine. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, what happened was I was going to try to get that in later as we finished the pregame press conference, but then I heard Magic Johnson say,
Yeah, that's right.
"Happy birthday," and I figured, why would you need me to say it if Magic did?
I did not.
Exactly.
So thank you.
So Luke is here in part. This was originally going to be Brandon Ingram, but as such a good guy, Luke has stepped in because Brandon's still dealing with the concussion symptoms. So before we get to a bunch of the questions you guys asked, and we appreciate everybody sending them in, how's B.I. doing? How's Brandon?
He's doing better. He was in today, and he got on the bike for a little bit today. Did about 10 minutes. So there's a whole concussion protocol that is mandated. And that was the first part of the exercise that he's done. So,
right.
You know, he's still not ready to obviously play. He's still got some work to do, but he's getting better.
And of course, Luke, something that I also have to ask you about every single day, how is Lonzo doing as he continues with that knee?
Knee's feeling better. He was sick yesterday, so he came in as well this morning. Feeling better both with his illness and his knee, but obviously he didn't have any energy today. So he just kind of checked in and says his knee's doing better to where he'll get on the court tomorrow morning and do some basketball activities, test it out, see how it's feeling.
Gotcha.
Still not ready to play as well. We got, there's those processes you go through, and once they pass those, then we need to get them in some 2-on-2, 3-on-3 type of stuff. So we're still. They're both doing better, but still, some things they got to do before they can play ball again.
Would you think unlikely for tomorrow?
Yeah. They won't play tomorrow.
Okay. All right, Luke, let's go to one of the first questions here from Aksha Mendez, who would like to know, how is it working with a young group?
It's great. You have to be patient, but when the young group that you have works really hard and wants to be really good, it makes it a lot of fun, because it's, all year long it's kind of been up and down. We've been playing well but not winning games, and no matter what the mood is, they come in the next day and they practice like it's training camp. They get after it. They push each other. You get to, from a coaching standpoint, one of the most entertaining, most enjoyable things of coaching is watching players grow and kind of trying to help them reach their goals and their dreams in this league, and to be able to coach and watch it happen, because you have so many young players, and watching the progress they make, makes the stress, the long road trips, the sleepless nights, makes it all worth it.
This team was so clearly turned that corner from the losing streak in December. Everything's going on. You start to get healthy bodies back, Luke. You're winning 8 to 10 games. The wins keep chalking up, and then the injury bug has kind of hit again. So just wonder how you've still thought about the season as a whole with these little segments, and even a win last night at OT against San Antonio. Does that help restore a little bit of that feeling that you guys had and where things were starting to build?
Oh, it's always nice to get a win, especially when you fight as hard as we did last night against a really good team. But I don't look at the season as a success or not by the amount of wins that we have. It's nice to get those wins, because that's what we're all playing for, and it's a rewarding feeling. But it was more coming into the season, how much can we grow as a team from the beginning of the year to the end of the year? And I think we've come a long way. And I mean that as far as individuals on our team and our overall team concept, and how we, our attitudes and how we approach games each night, how we approach practice, how we have each other's backs, all the things that we've been stressing all year long. Right now, win or lose games compared to where we were to start the season, we've come a long way, which to me means it's been a very successful season for our group.
All right, Elad Betcher would like to know, what are your thoughts on Ingram's season, and where does he need to improve for next season?
Well, Brandon was making, before he got hurt, he, in my opinion, was taking those first steps to becoming an all-star, which was when we were on that road trip, putting us on his back when other teams were going on the road, when other teams were going on runs, scoring 6, 8 points himself. He was, when the offense was stalling out, he was taking control of situations and coming off pin down or coming off high ball screens and being the aggressor, shoving his man off, pulling up, hitting that mid-range, and then getting out on the break and creating opportunities for other people. So I really think he was starting to feel what that was like and do it consistently. That's what the all-stars do at our level. Is everyone's got a ton of talent in this league. But the all-stars and the best players are the ones that can find a way to do it every single night. And that's really hard because of the amount of games we play and the toll it takes on you. But he was starting, I think, to feel that and play like that consistently, which was unfortunate because he got hurt. But it still was good to see, see that he's, in my opinion, going to be one of those players that takes those steps.
So February, just looking at his splits in that month, so 18.6 points on 54% from the field, 52% for 3, 5.6 assists, 5.2 rebounds, and 1.1 blocks at about 34 minutes. A month is a pretty good sample size, right? At the same time, do you think those are sustainable type production? Not that you have to look at it that way, but since you just talked about the eye test.
I think the overall way he plays is sustainable right now. I don't think he's going to be a 50% three-point shooter.
Right.
But I do think that I think his rebounding will even get higher than that by a few. I think his assists should be around 5 or 6 a game. I think he'll, be 18, 20-point scorer per night. So I think that's the player that we get to see because we work with him every day, and then it takes time to transfer from individual work to the practice court to the game court, and then the consistency on the game court. And I think eventually that's the consistent play that we'll get out of Brandon.
That's the funny thing about the NBA is sometimes when you enter at the age as Ingram did, as really a young 18-year-old, so he still doesn't turn 21 until this coming September. The first glimpse you get at him is so different from what it might be, if he did what Josh Hart did, and you see the first time you see him, he's 22, and he's bigger and he's stronger. And so, how do you, as you're evaluating players, right, in the way that they're perceived? How does that change, and what type of things do you look for specifically in a Brandon where you're thinking, okay, you know what, we know that he's here right now, but we really see the tools where he can get to that elite level?
Well, it's a challenge. You get caught up, especially during the season, in the competition of we need to do this. This is the NBA. This needs to happen. And then I have to at least kind of pull myself back and remind myself occasionally, look, he's 20 years old. Or this young man's 21 years old. And that's why it's important for us, and what our game plan is as an organization is the big picture. And I've said all year, it's not about winning this one game. It's about where we're trying to get to with this group. And if that means, Brandon, who's 20, is having a bad game, some nights that means leave him in and let him figure it out on his own. Other nights that means sit him out on the bench and let him watch his teammates finish a game that he wants to be in, because we're trying to really do at this moment is grow our players for when they are 22, 23, 24 years old and ready to compete at a much higher level. And to their credit, our players' credit, to be the ages they are and the lack of experience they have in this league, to be playing at the level they are already and competing with the teams they do, the way they have all season is a huge credit to who they are in the way that they, the confidence they have in themselves.
All right, I want to pop back to a question from Randy, Luke, who wants to know, who was your favorite teammate when you were a player?
My favorite teammate? Probably 2 of them. Jordan Farmar and Lamar Odom were my 2 guys when I played. Jordan and I were kind of in that second unit together, and I found out that making friends with your point guard, the guy that always has the ball, is a good idea. because he's the one that's going to decide where the offense goes. And Lamar was he was great. He was, he knew when you needed to laugh. He knew when you needed a serious talk. He was just the guy in the locker room that just, in a long season when it gets tough, he was always there to kind of make everybody, everybody smile.
I was just I didn't successfully do it. I was trying to Google, but I wrote a piece, I think, in '08, my first cover of the team, when you were, of course, playing with Jordan, and it was something about the bromance, and I think bromance was in the title. But you guys were, I think behind it was on the plane sometimes, either, I don't know if it was Jordan or Morrison would bring monitors for an Xbox, and then you'd play like 4-player FIFA.
Yeah, well, yeah,
sometimes?
Morrison did. We played a lot of poker on the flights.
Yeah.
But then Morrison would travel, or maybe it was. I must be getting old. I can't remember either. But that
was a long time ago. Yeah.
And then they'd bring the monitor into like the hotel room, and we'd all play in the hotel. But on the planes, we were more poker guys than the Xbox.
Who was the best at poker?
Adam Morrison at poker. But we also played a game called Boo-Ray. And he was not as good at Boo-Ray as he was at poker.
Did you get to see Lamar when he was at the game the other day?
I didn't. I heard he was there. I heard he was looking good. Did not have a chance. I texted with him afterwards, but I didn't know he was going. I didn't see him there.
All right, cool. Justin would like to know, Luke, who's the funniest on the team?
The funniest on our team?
Yeah, funniest player. As a precursor to this, do you have to be on social media to follow who's the funniest? Like, do they tell jokes in person, or is it all just on the phones?
Most of it is on the phone. Like, I'm serious. I'll hear them laughing. I ask what, and they like show me their phone, and they're all talking with each other, but not really talking. Just like Channing Frye is pretty funny. Kuz and Zoe have a great banter back and forth. I mean, they stay on each other. Because I have history with Channing, I'll give Channing the nod on that one.
Okay. And, well, last night, of course, Channing, I don't know if you expected him to go 8 of 9 and carry your offense for large stretches, only missed the dunks.
That was the game plan.
Yeah, that was, yeah. I saw you drawing a lot of that up in there. All right, Giuseppe. Giuseppe, always here for us during these chats. First of all, great work, coach, he says. Giuseppe's our friend from Italy. Question, if you should define with one word for the basketball culture you were installing, what would it be? And he offers a couple of options: accountability, trust. Thanks from Italy. It's always hard to summarize things in one word, but
yeah, it is. Selflessness, I'll go with. As far as, my main thing is we need to play for each other. The team is more important than the individual, and when we play that way, we're really good, and we're a lot of fun for me to coach, and I think a lot of fun for the fans to watch.
You've been very consistent with your comments about Lonzo this year, and certainly that one way to describe his game, I think you could use that, right, with the selflessness. Why don't you just, if you could summarize again, but where you think Lonzo is now compared to what you expected, where you think he can get to as a player?
Well, the sky's the limit for him. Brandon, Kuz, these guys have an unlimited amount of potential. But for Zoe, he, again, being a 20-year-old rookie, he is so much further ahead than I think he gets judged way too harshly. He's, I can't tell you his numbers off the top of my head, but I'm sure you can pull them up. The things
basically the same as Jason Kidd's rookie year. Yeah, it's like 11, 7, and 7.
He makes us better on offense. We want to play fast. He makes us faster. We want to be selfless. He throws the ball around to everyone every time he touches it. He's going to be a really consistent, good three-point shooter. He's showing stretches of that this year. And defensively, he is so much better than I thought in watching film on him at UCLA than I thought he was going to be. He's naturally a competitor, and he uses his size, and he has unbelievable anticipation. Just the way he passes and sees everything developing, he has that ability on defense, and will just disrupt things for us when he's having his good games. And again, the consistency part will come as he gets older. For like every Most players. Some players don't ever figure it out. Zoe will figure it out. And I think where he's going to make his most improvement is going to be this summer. Now that he's felt the league and knows it, he's got great touch around the rim. He just hasn't really figured. He hasn't done it enough this season to get to finish consistently at the rim in the paint. And I think with a full summer of working on that, he's going to come back next year and have that as part of his game. And as soon as he starts finishing around the rim, all the passing lanes are going to open up for him, and it's going to make him that much more dangerous. So, as a player, I see he's going to do big things in this league.
He did really finish at the rim well at UCLA. I think he was 70% plus or something in the paint. But it's a different level of strength, and you can almost tell when he's going in. It's just not the same as college, maybe athletically and physically. Just
well, and I think athletically and physically he'll get there.
Yeah.
He just that takes time. Again, you're 20 and you're going against grown men that are bumping you off your spot, and the speed's a little different. The athleticism that's guarding you is different. So his athleticism is going to be fine. He's plenty athletic.
I think he's got a 35-inch vertical, and he's 6'6". So.
It's adjusting to the other players that are just as athletic. That takes some time, but he'll get used to that, and he's gonna be a lot of fun to coach and a lot of fun for the fans to watch as he continues to grow.
I mean, you mentioned all the different areas of his game that he's so obviously good at. There's still going to be some skepticism about the shooting because of the percentage and the way that it's released. What's the quick nutshell as to why you guys that's so not a concern for you that you seem to keep repeating this year?
Well, he's been a good shooter his whole life. There's very few people, I think, that come in the NBA and are consistent knockdown NBA three-point shooters as rookies, unless that's what you do as just a pure shooter. It normally takes some time. The line's further back, the ball's different. Like same thing as when you get to the rim and have to learn how to finish around. People close out on you faster, and he showed for that stretch what he's capable, and that stretch is more similar to what he's been for his entire life, as opposed to the beginning of the season and how he was shooting the ball most recently. I believe that he'll, as his confidence grows, he'll be knocking that shot down all the time.
And teams did start going over the screen and dropping it big at a certain point also, which I suppose opens some passing lanes, but it's a different way to get your shot.
Yeah,
and absolutely. So he's still adjusting to that part.
And it's nice for that to happen, because the only way to learn how to attack that is to go through it, experience it, feel it. So the more opportunities our young guys get at however defenses guard them, the better it is for us in our future.
All right, Luke, we have a question from Will from Arkansas. That sounds familiar. How has your acting career helped in your current line of work?
My what?
He says, how has your acting career helped in your current line of work? You've done some acting?
No. I've done a cameo about 12 years ago.
That's acting.
But it hasn't helped in my
For people that aren't familiar with that, can you explain the cameo?
No, I cannot. I can't even remember it. But acting was not something I was good at. So I recognized a weakness of mine and moved in another direction.
You seem to be doing fine for yourself.
Yeah, thanks.
Joshua Calderon says, what was one thing you had to do as a rookie that you were embarrassed about?
When I was a rookie, I had Shaq, Kobe, Gary Payton, Karl Malone, Rick Fox, Derek Fisher. And
that's a lot of good vets.
They are great vets, and they were incredible as far as teaching me what it's about being in the NBA. But the things they made me do that were embarrassing, I'm not going to share.
Shaq's a little notorious for
there was
treatment of young players.
There was some inappropriate things. But I had to do things like if one of them wanted to run errands one day, I'd have to be the chauffeur, drive them all around LA and just wait in the car while they did whatever they wanted to do. Go pick up headphones if someone forgot them on road trips. Fish wanted a Sidney Moncrief jersey one time, back when everyone was wearing jerseys around, and I literally spent the entire pregame in Milwaukee searching the town for Sidney Moncrief jerseys.
So
things like
so much
that.
for getting shots up before the game. To get
Yeah,
yourself
but
going.
I was a rookie with all those guys. If I was playing, all I was doing was passing the ball anyway.
Yeah.
So, but things like that we had to do. We weren't allowed to get on the elevator at the hotel unless all the vets got on. We couldn't eat until we served all the vets. As soon as the plane landed, Brian Cook and myself had to get off with the equipment guy and help unload the plane. A lot of these things have changed now.
Yeah.
The rookies today, they don't know what it was like to really be a rookie in the NBA.
But you've had such an interesting basketball life, though. So you could ask you, hey, what was it like being around Kobe and Shaq the first time? It's like, well, you grew up with a Hall of Fame dad. You won a high school championship. You went to one of the best college programs with some great players. You played with Gilbert Arenas and on and down the line. So did all of that make your NBA transition a little bit different, maybe from somebody, or did it still feel like it was crazy?
I'm sure it was different. It's tough because I can't put myself in,
of course,
Brian Cook's shoes and what he was going through as a rookie. But it definitely, I think that I was used to being around this life, so there wasn't a lot of shock in coming to the NBA. Now that being said, people, used to tell me, "Oh, you must have such an advantage because you've been, you know what it's like here." And that part wasn't true. I still had to, as much as my dad wanted to tell me like this, and this, I still went out and made those mistakes.
Yeah.
And then learned for myself, just like I'm sure most players do. And then once you learn from those mistakes, you try not to do them again, or you try to switch something up here or there. But yeah, I'm sure it was different than a lot of players. I just can't tell you in which ways because I can't speak for them.
Sure. Question from Motive Jag. Coach, what would be your all-time Lakers starting five? You got a lot of talent to deal with here.
Yeah, we do. Magic, Kobe, Jerry West, Shaq, and Kareem. I don't care that they don't fit in certain positions.
They'd probably figure it out.
We're going to find a way to win.
Yeah.
We're going to switch a lot, and we're going to throw the ball inside a lot.
So imagine a franchise in which you got James Worthy, Elgin, and Wilt coming off the bench.
Yeah, that's my
Jamal
8-man
Wilkes.
rotation. We'll throw Jamal in there.
Maybe get one more
I'll be
shooter
the
in there.
10th guy because I'm not going to play, but I'm going to be a locker room guy.
Right.
To make sure that everything's running smoothly.
Yeah. That's not bad. All right, we got one more minute with you, Luke. So anything just that you want to share from this season that maybe we haven't been privy to, and whether it's just a moment in which the young guys were galvanized, or something that you've noticed that you think is pertinent?
No. We when the season ends, I'll take time to reflect on the whole season. Right now, I can tell you it's been a lot of fun. It's gone really fast, but I don't feel like sharing any of those inner moments with you quite yet.
Well,
I'm sure we'll sit down again and have this talk later on. For now, I'm going to pass.
The good news is we have to talk to you about 5 more times just in the next week alone. So,
who's that good news for?
The people.
For the people.
Yeah, not necessarily you. Although
I do love the people.
Yeah, it's part of the deal here. Well, Luke, look, we do really appreciate your time, especially on an off day, coming in and hanging out for Lakers Voices. Toyota and the Lakers have been together for 41 plus years. Go have a good rest of the day, man, and thanks again for the time. All right.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening.